Crowings Training, the first civil aviation authority approved remote pilot license organization in South Africa, has been appointed as the service provider for the first ever South African government initiative to provide the unemployed youth with remote pilot licenses. This is done via the sponsorship of TITA, the Transport Education Training Authority. This initiative will essentially empower the unemployed youth to take off into the new era of unmanned aircraft in both employment and business opportunities, as this technological advancement allows for amazing new abilities and efficiencies in areas like agriculture, mining, and anti-poaching, to name a few.
Crowings has trained more than 1,000 students in Africa and has a success rate of 98%.
It's actually quite fun because you get to be in control of a whole different aircraft while you're on the ground.
We would like to sincerely thank TITA for allowing us to join forces with them and battle unemployment in our beautiful country. Thank you.
A very good afternoon on the 22nd of this day in September 2021. Welcome to the second edition of three installments of the TITA, the Transport Education Training Authority's HIV and AIDS engagement, with, of course, the focus on HIV still needs our attention. We're very proud to be in collaboration with the UJ, University of Johannesburg, Johannesburg's Institutional Office for HIV and AIDS. I am Alicia Ntlantla Jali. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us on this platform this afternoon. We're basically going to be gauging from TITA, which is of course a Transport Education and Training Authority. What is this initiative about? We've got many speakers who are going to be giving you all you need to know, all those questions that you need answered. They're going to be telling you where can you go if you are a student and you find yourself affected or infected with HIV and AIDS. We've also got speakers from the University of Johannesburg. I will be acknowledging all my speakers today. We've got resolutions as to what else can you do besides the message that we always hear. It's either you can use condoms, it's either you can abstain, but we've got multi-talented people that are sitting here that are going to be telling us how else we can combat the scourge of HIV and AIDS in this pandemic, particularly around the times of COVID, where COVID seems to have masked literally everything around everything else. We still acknowledge that HIV and AIDS is still a pandemic. So thank you very much to the Transport Education and Training Authority for giving us this opportunity. And please note, we are live on UJFM. That is, of course, our partner, our host partner. Thank you so much. That frequency there is, of course, on 95.4. Hello, everybody. Hello. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be giving you that link where you can also engage with us and ask those questions. You can go live and check out the Transport Education Training Authority's Facebook page. That is where we are currently broadcasting live. You can drop your questions there. And the link is also available on the UJ Institutional Office for HIV and AIDS /IOHA. All right. And we're very pleased to welcome everybody, my panelists. Let me just quickly acknowledge them that are here today. We do have with us let me just look there. We have Sister Raining Kato, who's actually the head of department of IOHA at UJ. Now, the IOHA project team members, Miss Minentle Matela, who's a specialist in student health as well as wellness, alongside Mr. Karabo Nonyane, who's a programs coordinator, and other IOHA project team members. We acknowledge you, and the peer educators from the University of Johannesburg. So welcome, everybody. All right, we also have the funder of this HIV and AIDS engagement, which is, of course, our main sponsor, TITA. TITA stands for Transport Education Training Authority. We do have Mr. Sabelo Mboko, who is the head of marketing and communication, joining us as well. Hello, Mr. Mboko. We also have Ms. Maishela Sisi Maheha. She's the deputy director of the voluntary medical male circumcision, as well as condom management for the Gauteng Department of Health. Hello, Sis Maishela. We also like to acknowledge the rest of the National Health Department for partnering with us on this great initiative. We also have on our panel Reverend Siva Waku, who is with the South African Council of Churches, to give us maybe an overview of that moral regeneration. When we talk about such issues, how do we leave God out of these issues? So thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, Reverend. We also have Ms. Tulina Mokangwe, who's from the Community Media Trust, which is called Asbangene campaign. She's also a lady that is openly living with HIV. So she can give you pointers as to how she has dealt with the stigma, how HIV and AIDS has affected her and those that are in and around her. We also have Ms. Refilo CBC, who's the youth advisor at Higher Health SA, as well as, of course, Ms. Amanda Ndiki. She's an author of Stepping Into Your True Self. She's also a life and business coach as well as entrepreneur. She'll be giving you the other side of preventing the scourge of HIV. We also have students as well as members of the public. Thank you. That is you who are connected to the online engagement on the TITA Facebook page and, of course, on UJFM. All right. So without further ado now, let me call out upon our first speaker and, of course, our main guest this afternoon. That is Mr. Sabelo Mboko, to basically give us an overview of what the objectives of this initiative are. Why the youth, Mr. Mboko? Why universities? Who's your target market? Why particularly students? And why HIV and AIDS?
Thank you so much, Alicia Ntlantla Wagwajali. We really appreciate the opportunity and welcome to all the Facebook viewers, and everybody somewhere at UJ who is joining us this afternoon. Your question is very broad, Alicia, but then let me try and tackle it, digest it as far as possible. Basically, when you talk about TETA, we're talking about the Transport Education Training Authority, which is one of the 21 SETAs that we have in the country. Now, the SETAs are mandated to facilitate skills development and training within different sectors of economy. So for TETA, then it's specific to transport. Now, when we talk about what we do in terms of the mandate for skills development and training, you would look at programs such as your internships, your skills programs, your learnerships that are offered and benefiting directly young people that we have in the country. Then we also offer bursaries as vehicles to try and help young people who want to venture into transport-related careers. So all of these are then the vehicles that we use to facilitate skills development and training. Now, over and above these, because these are feeding to what the country needs in terms of skills and upskilling and training thereof in the industry. You look at young people and the risk that they are faced with, the challenges that they are faced with. So as they are our beneficiaries, the target audience in this sense, we need to make sure that we create the necessary awareness for them to remain safe, for them to sustain their lives as far as possible. Because the investment that we are making in terms of skills development and training, it is geared towards ensuring that they are able to contribute positively to the economy of the country. So all of these then would then answer a question that says, why, TETA, are you then venturing into the Department of Health's mandate? So it's all about ensuring that in our space, for those that are following us, those that seek to participate in our programs, we then create the awareness to ensure that we extend the messaging from government or from the Department of Health to ensure that also we hold hands together. Further to that, we then have these programs, which are more of a CSI component of our institution, the HIV/AIDS awareness campaign, which we are embarking on today. This is purely to ensure that as much as it's not our primary or core function, but we are in a space where we live in communities and we need to further engage. As people get into class for training purposes, we need to ensure that their well-being is catered for. So the little that we can do or contribute is to spark conversations. Right now, we are having a conversation in this platform. This is now the objective of TETA, to ensure that these conversations are happening in different spaces. If somebody is tuned in using their mobile phone in a bathroom, bedroom, or even a hotel room, wherever space or whatever space that they are using, then that means we are now engaging in different platforms, whether comfortable or uncomfortable. For us, it is to ensure that the partners that are part of these conversations, they are able to impart a message which is unique from us. We can talk training and development, but the wholeness of the body requires that we look at the well-being from a social point of view and from the health point of view. So all of these partners that we have, they are going to talk to the spiritual man, of which that is the very person who goes for training. They need to be fed spiritually, but how do they cope and manage the issues around HIV and AIDS? So we've got different speakers that will really help us as we embark on this journey. So these three segments are going to assist, because we started with a TVET college and now we are at UJ, even though we are virtual. But we are spreading our wings and ensuring that our message touches as far as possible, many people as possible. And the last segment will obviously touch on the taxi rank which will be more of a live engagement. We are diversifying our offering as far as possible to ensure that our people, they get the message. But the core that they need to take away from this is that HIV and AIDS conversations should not be an event-based, but they should be a home social message or conversation that can easily happen around the table without anybody trying to hide under the table. Thank you so much, Alicia. I think I have eaten a lot of your time.
Thank you so much to Mr. Sabelo Mbuku, Tita's marketing manager. Thank you so much for your overall enlightenment as to why we're here today. Basically, yes, and as he has mentioned, we did start at Tibet College in Tshwane. We are here now, even though virtual, at the UJ platform. And of course, the next one, as is mentioned, is of course the taxi rank, which will be taking place in Alexandra. All right, now I'm going to welcome our partners, our very proud partners from the University of Johannesburg, from that office that they call the UJ Institutional Office for HIV and AIDS, or IOHA, if you abbreviate it. I do have a dialogue between Ms. Minentle as well as Karabo that are going to be basically giving us the programs as well as services that are offered to students in this regard. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Alicia, for the opportunity. We are IOHA, and indeed, it's great to be on this platform this afternoon, together with my colleague and partner, Minentle Madela. So yeah, we'll just jump into it. So Mini, maybe open up the conversation for us and briefly just share with our viewers and our listeners today what IOHA is, the vision, the mission, and more importantly, actually the partnership that we have with the Moon and Back group for this particular engagement. Where is the merging? Where do we come together? What is the alignment now with regards to this particular partnership? So over to you, Mini, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, Karaba, good afternoon to everybody who's watching here today. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you to Tita for the partnership and Moon and Back Group. We as IOHA are very excited to be here today. So just to give a brief outline, you know, knowledge, attitudes, and practices in universities about sexuality, gender inequalities, and violence against women, youth pregnancy, HIV/AIDS, and social justice remain to be amongst the most critical aspects which could either hinder a student's success or facilitate their prosperity. You know, gender inequalities that reduce women and the LGBTQI+ community as subordinates in society is perhaps one of the fundamental reasons for the sexual abuse of young women and the queer community at universities. And this requires urgent attention, right? So in addition, looking at risky behaviors and attitudes by university students, these things will continue unless investments in prevention programs not only focus on education and awareness, but also aim to improve the overall student well-being and also maintain social justice, right? So in order to be effective, HIV/AIDS education and prevention programs must address widespread forms of societal gender inequalities and the persistence of sexual violence, right? So at the core of our strategic mandate as IOHA, we aim to facilitate the implementation of the prevention programs and the strategies for reducing new HIV infections and providing holistic service for HIV/AIDS related matters within the UJ community, right? So we don't do this in isolation. We are not an island. We do this together with internal and external stakeholders, right? So we promote HIV testing services. You know, we include wellness screening. We have HIV care and support programs for people living with HIV. We have sexual and human rights and social mobilization, right? So, I mean, the partnership with Tita and the Moon and Back Group was then a no-brainer, right? I mean, we share the same mandate in creating ongoing HIV awareness, more especially now with COVID-19 taking the forefront, as Alicia alluded earlier, you know, of all healthcare marketing and awareness. And it is important for us to remember that HIV still needs our attention, right? So Now, Karabo, we know that the Institutional Office for HIV and AIDS, also known as IOHA, is not only an HIV office, right? But it's also an office that deals with all things youth health and wellness. Can you maybe tell us a bit more about the programs that IOHA offers?
No, sure, Minnie. Thank you for the opportunity. I believe, as you have already shared with us, Minnie, investment, and I'll emphasize this statement, investment needs to be made into prevention programs, which does not only focus on education and awareness, but also aims to improve the overall well-being and maintain social justice. So at IOHA, we are making that investment. And this investment that we are making, we are actually offering a range of programs for the UJ community, where we have the women's programs, we have the Safe Zone program, health promotion, the men's program, teaching and learning, and the peer education program. So with that said, I'm quite interested for you to just unpack for us the women's program, health promotion program, activities that we offer for our student community.
Wonderful, with pleasure. So we have a health promotion program. Now, what the health promotion program is that it looks at communicable and non-communicable diseases, right? It also looks at aspects of risky behavior and further health education at the faculties and the residences. So we try by all means to always engage our students. We're always having different kinds of awareness campaigns. We have a multitude of things that we implement. So how we do this is that we do it through different trainings, and we do it through skills developments, right? So what we do at the residences, if you're sitting at home wondering what are these residence visits that they're talking about, we have residence visits where we educate young people on all things health and wellness, right? Now, this is not only limited to HIV awareness, although this is a critical element, we also engage on mental health topics, right? We look at hygiene, we talk about safe sex practices, and much, much more. This is just to name a few, right? So we also have weekly social media content every Monday related to health promotion topics, as I've alluded. And then not only that, but we also have a women's program. Now, the women's program is also known as the Sisterhood Club, right? Which looks at three aspects. It looks at promoting equity, advocating for gender equality, and also sexual and reproductive health rights. Now, this is merely a summary of the three pillars, right? On a deeper level, we have so many activities taking place. And to get more information, I would advise our viewers to head on over to the Institutional Office for HIV and AIDS Facebook page, like and follow and keep track of everything that we are doing, because we are always busy. We always have content. It's always vibing on our Facebook page, right? They will then see that every Wednesday we have interesting content about all things related to women. More than that, we have a WhatsApp group where we engage with young women on literally everything that relates to women, right? Women need a community of sisters, and which is why we have the Sisterhood Club. It is a safe space for women to engage and be empowered, right? So on that note, we have a women's program, we have a health promotion program. Now, can you tell us more, Karabo, about the men's program, the Safe Zones program, and the teaching and learning aspect that IOHA offers?
No, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Minnie. Wow, you've unpacked some of these services overarching into these programs. So I will just deep dive just a little bit into detail with regards to these programs that you've highlighted. And I'm going to start with our Safe Zone program, which focuses on gender sensitization, where we are addressing stigma and discrimination of the LGBTIQ community, and also health and wellness, focusing on fostering access and information on comprehensive sexual reproductive health services, which include psychosocial support services, among other things. So that is what we do. And with the platforms that you've already alluded, they cut across these particular programs. Just to share now, with regards to the content for the Safe Zone program, this is shared on our Facebook page each and every Tuesday. So you don't want to miss it. Each and every Tuesday, you know it's Safe Zones program. And like you said, we are always busy, and busy is busy, busy as every day. And now moving on to the week, we get into, you said we spoke of Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you might be wondering what happens. The Thursday is the men's program slot, where we are talking all men's issues. And within our the men's program, we look into gender identity, really, what does it mean to be a man? And in so doing, we are challenging toxic masculinity, and we also do behavior modification for men, where we address risky social behavior and provide guidance to alternative forms of behavior. Just like other programs, we also focus on men's health holistically and rendering the necessary linkages when necessary. So moving right along to the last program that I'll touch on is the teaching and learning program. So for the teaching and learning program here, we focus on fostering graduate competencies through the provision of internships and training workshops which also focus on behavior modification through peer education, and through peer education, an opportunity for these graduates to network and belong to belong, and in so doing, fostering and enabling environment for students to exchange knowledge and experiences. So yeah, thank you so much. This is the programs that I had to share on. And I'd just like to, in conclusion to our slot, to just talk about the HIV management and care support program.
Thank you, thank you. So, to those sitting at home right now, if you didn't know, now you know, Ayoha is in the house and we are very excited to have you. I hope that you will like and follow our Facebook pages and keep up to date with all that we are doing. So now, as a final aspect, I want to look at our HIV program, right? I mean, as you can see, we're booked Monday to Friday. It's always happening. So Ayoha focuses on the social aspect of health and wellness, right? But what we do is that our aspects of health and wellness is spearheaded by prevention, right? So this is done through various programs, as we've already mentioned. Now, I'll just touch on very briefly on the HIV prevention program, which has a medical and non-medical aspect. This now includes barrier methods, distribution. We make sure that people stay strapped. We make sure that everybody stays safe, right? Health education, we also look at health screening through self-screening tools. So we have self-screening tools that people can use at home. They can just go on their phone, just find out if they have any issues, if they need referrals, we make that happen, right? And then we've also got HIV testing services, which also includes further health screening. So if you need further health screening that needs to take place, the HIV testing services will provide that service through to you, right? So Ayoha also has an HIV care and support program. Now, this program caters to students infected or affected by HIV, right? So what we do is that our program includes linkage to care and treatments. It includes a buddy system. We have a system where everybody will get a buddy and you know that you don't have to go through this journey alone if you are living positively with HIV. We have a lot of information that is shared within our program just so that everybody is capacitated to take on this new journey after their diagnosis, right? And then we also have individual and group counseling, as well as a WhatsApp group for ease of communication. You know, everybody needs a community. All our other programs have a community. So each and every one of our programs actually is a community on its own inside a bigger community that is Ayoha. So I hope this information has been very helpful, and thank you for the opportunity.
No, sure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Minnie. And just to round off our discussion as well, with regards to where to find us. So we are, as the Iowa office, found in all 4 campuses of UJ. And I'll just highlight the exact location where to find us exactly. In APK, we are in A Ring 430, and in APB, which is the Bunting Road office, we are found at office number B Red 9. And in the Soweto campus, we are found in ADD 111 or ADD 133 Ukamba building. And at the Dorenfontein DFC campus, we are found in house number 5, Lewis Road, just next to the clinic. So thank you so much, Alicia, for having us on board. Over to you.
Oh, you guys, thank you so much. You know, my question as I'm listening to all these programs, we're going to play a video from the programs that the Ayoha office actually does offer, but I'm sitting and I'm thinking, these are great initiatives, you know, and I would like to know, like, I'm just wondering, what is the reaction, what has the reaction been, particularly by the parents and the students themselves? Have they embraced such programs? Are they grateful for such? Because, I mean, I'm sure this is a new thing that is trying to be inclusive to ensure that they don't have to venture that far in in order for them to get the care that they need. So well done, UJ. Thank you so much. Remember, we are still live on UJFM 95.4, and we're also streaming live on the Transport Education Training Authority's Facebook page, as well as the link on the institution, the UJ Institutional Office for HIV and AIDS, IOHA. Let's take a look at the video where they showcase their programs.
Let's talk about love. Is it anything and everything you offer? I didn't feel on you. I didn't feel on you.
Maybe the night that my tears might let me know. All the stars are close, all the stars are close, all the stars are close. Maybe the night that my tears might let me know. All the stars are closer, all the stars are closer, all the stars are closer.
Tell me what you gonna do to me. Confrontation ain't nothing new to me. You could bring a bullet, bring a sword, bring a morgue, but you can't bring the truth to me. Fuck you and all your expectations. I don't even want your congratulations. I recognize your false confidence and calculated promises all in your conversation. I hate people that feel entitled. Look at me crazy cause I ain't invite you. Oh, you important, you the moral to the story. You endorsing, motherfucker, I don't even like you. Corrupt a man's heart with a gift. That's how you find out who you dealing with.
All right, as you saw there, that is some of the interesting and innovative programs that are offered by the IOHA UJ office. So do take, make use of those facilities, particularly if you're a student at UJ. I'm going to read some of your interactions here. As you know, we are interacting with you live on the Facebook page, the TISA Facebook page, and I'm sure a lot of you got the link from the IOHA's Facebook page. Unobuhle Kim Simango says, I'm very grateful for IOHA. Basically, everything that has been coming through here, we are able to see some of the comments. I don't know if you heard my last bit of commentary there from Umasi Chabatse Pang Sarangwan. It says, they're all saying they're very grateful for the work that you're doing, IOHA office. So you guys really have hit the nail on the head pertaining AIDS. All right, so let's continue with the program, ladies and gentlemen. So sorry for those little disruptions. I'm going to move on now. I want to call upon Miss Refilo Sibisi. She's a youth advisor from the Higher Health South Africa, maybe just to talk to us about their collaboration with institutions of higher learning, as well as other strategic social partners. Sis Refilo, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Over to you.
Yabonga Alicia. Good afternoon, everyone. I am very pleased to have this platform today, and thank you for tuning in. Mainly on collaborations with institutions of higher learning and other strategic social partners. Higher Health is at the heart of partnerships, looking at how we've partnered with 26 universities, public universities, right throughout the country. Also just looking into, besides the universities, we are also in partnership with the TVET colleges, as well as the community education and training centers around our respective communities. One more thing that one thing that we really emphasize on is the wellness of students on campus and off campus. So we do understand that one thing that is really at the heart of students is having access to healthcare. So what we have is something called the First Things First program. And the First Things First program aims to bring the excess closer to the students. So in this, our emphasis are on your HIV testing, your STI screening, your mental health as well. We've got something called the risk assessment form, where you just go through there and sort of just have your self-assessment and go through that and realize where you might need us to refer you, because we do focus on 50% of linkage to healthcare, linkage to the right people that you might need. So, which is why collaboration for us is very important, because if we can't do something, we won't leave the student to their own device. We always have someone else that is in partnership with us that can assist the student with whatever is needed at that certain point in time. So, but for students, for us, we do know that they are the future contributors of our economy, and to have a great person that will be able to contribute efficiently and effectively in the economy, you do know that your mental health state should be at the right point, as well as you have to have the certain resources at hand as well. And we know that resources such as mental health services are very scarce in South Africa. So we've also had a toll-free student and staff helpline implemented in alliance with SA Depression and Anxiety Group, SEDEC, offering help in 11 official languages. And the service provides free telephonic or SMS counseling, crisis intervention and support, and referrals to mental health professionals and other psychosocial resources to the students on campus and off campus. So if I may just share the toll-free line with you, if you haven't seen it, haven't heard of it before, the toll-free call is 0800 36 36 36. So I'll repeat that, 0800 36 36 36. With our collaborations as well, I'd like to also mention that we work very closely with IOHA. We've recently had consultations with them, and including other regional universities, where we had consultations on how to implement certain youth programs and how effective those youth programs are and will be in future. So one of my duties is, as a youth advisor, is to ensure that these decisions that are taken at a higher level also have a youth impact, have a youth decisive, have youth decisions in them. So there's no use in having those higher level or researched decisions made without us, without the youth, the ones that are meant to be benefiting from these programs. So one of my roles is to do that, to ensure that the youth voices are heard and we do have a say on what should be implemented for us. Because one thing that I do believe in is that we do know what we want as the youth, and we do know how to voice out, but we just don't know where to channel those two. So higher health is one for students, for students to express on how they'd like certain programs to be implemented and what changes they'd like to see. We are very open to that, taking into consideration our first things first for programs that are already running on campus, in our second curriculum that is right underway, where we are training your SRC as well. We had in the consultations from UJ, we had the SRC SG Wendy Nkosi, we had Tembile Metula there, where they were able to express themselves and tell us what is working for the University of Johannesburg and what is not. So these, for us, consultations, collaborations are very important for us, knowing very well that nothing for you should be done without you.
All right, Refilo, I was about to get into because of time constraints, but thank you so much for that presentation. That is Miss Refilo Umasbisi. She's a youth advisor and she is with Higher Health SA. And of course, you've just heard about some of the multitude of collaborations with the different kinds of higher learning places. And of course, some of the programs that you can also engage in. I understand we also have a video clip pertaining to Ilokuzana High Health SA about Imende Tiabo, as well as some of the strategic projects that they do have around a focus on youth. What I picked up there, I mean, there's been a lot of cases. I mean, we've seen a rise in mental health related issues, particularly around students. We've heard about the high rates of depression as well as suicide. So I think it would be really, really good to note that there is help that is available for the students out there. Let's take a look at this video.
Hey, listen up, youthful voices. Have you heard of Higher Health? Well, Higher Health is a national entity that works on behalf of the Department of Higher Education and Training in partnership with 26 public universities, 50 TVET colleges, and 9 community education and training colleges. Higher Health is dedicated to promoting the health and well-being of over 2 million students in the post-school education and training system. Higher Health's vision is to be a primary instrument in improving student success rates and completion of studies through enhanced levels of overall and holistic health and psychosocial well-being. Higher Health's mission is to inspire success through improving well-being among students, including the prevention of ill health among students, the provision of quality healthcare and psychosocial services, the cultivation of health awareness and healthy lifestyles, and addressing social and cultural aspects of campus life that impact on student health. Higher Health seeks to reduce the incidence of health conditions such as HIV, STIs, TB, unplanned pregnancy, gender-based violence, serious mental health problems, and COVID-19. The organization aims to provide accessible, quality health and social care, including psychosocial services, in order to reduce the impacts of these affected students and, by extension, protect our communities. Higher health interventions are structured, age-appropriate, and evidence-based to address the evolving, unique emotional and physical development needs of young students, including adolescent girls and young women. Higher Health has a vibrant and passionate implementation team to deliver and scale programs. Higher Health's model of practice relies on 80% knowledge transfer, which is the second curriculum, extramural health and wellness program, capacity building and skills development, peer-to-peer education, peer-to-peer initiatives, activities and events, future beats radio program, social media campaign, mass media campaign, first things first health and wellness activations, psychoeducation and awareness. 90% practical learning, which is risk assessment and risk screening and testing, access to dedicated student toll-free crisis helpline 24/7, 365 days a year. 50% of linkage to youth-friendly services such as care provided by mental health professionals, referral to professionals outside the post-school education and training system facility, specialized clinical services through mobile clinics, linkage to treatment, care, and support.
All right, and as we come out of that video, we promised you we have got you covered in every aspect. We've got the information, we've got the facilities, we've got the programs, we've got the context, the relevant context that you need to get in touch with. All right, Tulina, you coming up next now. I'd like you to come through, and please just shorten yourself. I know we've literally gone overboard with the presentation earlier on, so if I can just ask the rest of my speakers, just keep it to a bare minimum. Miss Tulina is from the Community Media Trust, also from the Asbangeni movement, and she is openly living with HIV. Tulina, thank you so much for joining us. Your 5 minutes starts now.
Thank you, Ms. Jelly.
This is Tilina Mogangwe. I'm from Gotema, 29 years old of age. I'm a young woman living openly with HIV. I was diagnosed when I was 17 years old. I got infected through gender-based violence. And I started taking my ARVs in 2015 till today, 7 years now. And I live happily. I'm perfect. I've never been sick. I've never defaulted. And at first, it was not an easy road to go to. You understand, Begunzima. And that's where I started to tell myself, you know, I'm gonna be part of movements like Abo Asbangene, so that I can encourage other young men and women. It's not the end of the world. With HIV, you can still live, you can still dream, and you can still be ambitious as you want to be. It doesn't mean your life has to stop just because you are HIV positive. So Asbangene is a movement under a community middle trust. It deals with young men between the ages of 15 to 35 and the young women between the ages of 15 to 29. What we do is, at first we used to do those outreach programs whereby we'll do have a tent outside, loud music. As you see, Asbangene, it's a kasita. We talk to young people in the same language that they understand. So due to the pandemic of COVID-19, we decided, no, we can't stop, because young people still need the information, still need the encouragement. We decided to maybe do it on WhatsApp, because we all use our social media platforms. So we decided to have like sessions, 5, maybe a week, 1 hour per day. We talk about all health-related issues. Remember, we talk about HIV, but HIV has a friend, which is STI. STI has a friend, which is pregnancy. So we talk about such things. We encourage young people, and we also encourage them to use our facilities, those facilities that the government has built for us. We are tired of seeing abokoko phela in my clinic, and young people are not there, and yet Tina young people, we are dying. Yet our services are corner. We also teach the importance of using a condom, and we also share everything that we know via local radio stations. So as a young person living openly with HIV, I decided to live openly with HIV because I want to be able to interact to the other young person who's living with HIV. Because it's not an easy road. You end up depressed, stress, anxiety, dropping out of school, and it becomes a lot of drama. So I wanted to be a living testimony for young people. I wanted to show young people that it doesn't end here. You understand? And the only thing that is important is you drink your medication the way, according to the way it's prescribed for you every day at the very same time. You don't just drink it today and tomorrow, like I'll see tomorrow. No, it doesn't work like that. We encourage young people to take their medication so that they can live a healthy lifestyle and be fat like me. Life goes on.
All right, thank you so much to Tulina. Tulina, thank you. You literally got on your 5 minutes there. Thank you so much. And I guess the message from Tulina there is this, that HIV, but is not a death sentence. You can actually live a normal life. And they're living healthy. And of course, all right, before we take our next speaker, let's quickly check a video clip on the demonstration of how you actually use a condom, because I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, hey, let's take a look at this clip.
Greetings everyone, my name is Maisha Lamahe. I'm the program manager for condom at Gauteng Department of Health. Today I'm going to share with you or demonstrate to you how to use a condom, both male and female, correctly. And then here are the condoms. This one is the male condom, this one is the female, this one is the lubricant. I'm going to demonstrate using models, the female model and the male model. And then with condoms, before you can put on a condom, you need to wash your hands. You wash your hands The reason being to get rid of any fluids that could have touched during foreplay. Then thereafter you go to your condom, you check the integrity of the condom, you press it. If there is still air accumulating, it shows that it is still intact, and then you check the expiry date. This one is expiring in July 2025, and then you see, yeah, it's still intact, so it's ready to be used. Then there are two edged sides where you're going to open your condom. Don't use teeth, don't use scissors, don't use any hard object. Then you open the condom, you take it out, and then the condom has a tip or a reservoir. So this tip, you're going to press it, because if you don't press it during sex, air is going to accumulate inside. So you have to press it. You press it, and then the condom is placed on an erect penis. It's an erect penis. You place it on an erect penis, and then you
All right. Okay. That video, that was by a presentation from Miss Maishela Sili Maheha. She is, of course, she's the Deputy Director, Voluntary Medical Male Circumcision, as well as Condom Management for the Gauteng Department of Health. She is with us here. I'm just going to give her 3 minutes because she's pretty much covered the basis of ukuthi mekusetshenziswa ama-condom asetshenziswa kanjani, both male and female. I bet a lot of you didn't even know ukuthi kumele uqale ugeze izandla before you use that condom because you were having foreplay. So siyabonga Sis M, thank you so much for joining us. Over to you. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Thank you, Alicia, for the opportunity offered. I really appreciate it. Yes, as the Department of Health, we have been mandated that there are no new infections and reinfections by making sure that the population access the condoms. Because as the department, we are the ones that are procuring these condoms, and they are being distributed to our primary distribution sites, of which we have primary distribution sites, the entire Gauteng province in all the districts. And from the primary distribution sites, that's where the secondary distribution sites, being clinics, non-government organizations, are getting the condoms from. And then, like I indicated, that we don't like to see new infections and reinfections. Hence, we have HIV prevention programs, and condom management is one of them as a non-medical area form of prevention. And then with condoms, when they are used correctly and consistently, indeed they do prevent HIV and unwanted pregnancy. Because now we've had incidents of people that infected or they had unwanted because the condom has burst or the condom was having tears. Hence, it's important that we know the do's and don'ts of condom usage. And to mention a few, with condoms, you don't have to use condoms at the same time. Yeah, thinking that you're going to maximize the protection. You use one condom at once, and then you don't use one condom several times. You use one and you start, like I've indicated in the video. And then when using a condom, sometimes you can have, if you are having friction when you are having the act, you can use lubricants or water-based lubricants. You must guard against this thing of using Vaseline, baby oils, cooking oils. Yes, those ones, they're going to make the condom not user-friendly. It will cause a lot of friction. That's where we talk of tears and pasty.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Sis M. Thank you, Sis M. We're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much. And I think we're struggling with the sound there as well. But thank you so much with the presentation as well. And that added bit of information and encouragement on the correct use Yama condoms. Don't ever take advantage. Uti wena, you know what you're doing. Here are some comments that are coming through on Facebook. Movement in relation to Sis Tulina. They're saying, Urina here says, great display of strength and courage, Sis Tulina. And Usfi Sfiso Mazozo says he's still enjoying the session. Well, Sfiso, please stay there. Because we are enjoying hosting you guys as well. All right, let's move on now to my favorite, one of my favorite ladies. I want to call Ulo Kuzana Usis Amanda Ndike, who's the author now of Stepping Into Your True Self. She's also a life and business coach. Let's go ahead. Siyagiyena Usis Amanda Ndike. Amanda, please provide us maybe with your personal journey on abstinence. Ukuthi wena wenza kanjani ukuthi ube nenye indlela of saying, you know what, prevention is better than cure.
All right, thank you. And good afternoon to everyone and the students watching. So because of time, I'm just going to be brief. I am Amanda Ndike. They call me the Queen of Celibacy. I've been living a life of celibacy for 9 years. And the reason I'm part of this program is to actually share the fact that abstinence can be part of the alternative solution to combat HIV and teenage pregnancy. You know, there's so much narrative around sex that every young person or every young girl or boy wants to engage in sex, to a point that the voices that speaks of sex are the voices of condoms, are the voices of HIV activists, and there's not a lot of guidance when it comes to abstinence and celibacy. And that's what I stand for, to say celibacy or abstinence should be a lifestyle. You know, it shouldn't be like you are living in an island when you say, I am abstaining from sex or I'm celibate. It should be a sexual liberating choice where people are able to engage and not be made to feel like you are not normal or you are doing something that is unnatural when you are saying you are abstaining from sex. So that's what I stand for. And the benefits that comes with abstinence. Firstly, we live in a world where a lot of youth are damaged, they are wounded, they are broken by the very same sex that they engage in prematurely. So abstinence helps you with healing. It helps them with healing emotionally. It helps them with healing spiritually. It helps them with healing physically without disturbance from toxic relationships. Another thing, it also avoids triggers. Because when you abstain, then you are not triggered to engage in unhealthy sexual relationships. You are not pressured to engage in sex when you are not ready. Another point is it also allows you to delay your gratification. We live in a world where everything is instant gratification. When you have an erection, you just want a hole that is near to you to put your thing there. So with abstinence, it helps you to control your erection, to say your erection is not your direction. You can control your erection. You can have self-control when you abstain. Those are the benefits that comes with abstinence. And I also said it gives one the power of choice. Where the sex industry has sold us that if you don't engage in sex, there is something wrong with you. You will have stress, you won't glow. And so I want to say to young people, please look at me. I am very beautiful. I am glowing. I am healthy. I am normal in this 9 years. There is nothing missing. Is it an easy thing to do, Sis Amanda? It's absolutely not an easy thing to do, but it requires commitment. It requires endurance to say, this is what I want for myself. I want a healthy soul. I want healthy emotions for myself, not for everybody else. Because when you know better, then you have better decisions. You choose better relationships. You choose better friendships.
The queen of abstinence, Usis Amanda, Miss Amanda Ndike there. Your erection is not your direction. Okay, Siyazwana, let me just repeat that. Your erection is not your direction. Siyabonga kakhulu kwintokazi emhlophe eglowayo without having had sex in over 9 years. I mean, this is incredible, guys. Ziningi indlela zokuthi nizivikele. Let me just read some comments also that arose from Usis M enza demonstration. Ayanda Clementine Gubega Uti. Oh wow, I didn't even know where to wash our hands before opening a condom. This was very, very insightful. HIV is definitely not a death sentence, But as young people, we need to protect ourselves because HIV has friends as STIs, and those aren't cute. Let's educate ourselves and stay safe. So I'm glad that a lot of you are receiving this message and these messages in a positive manner, and you're engaging with us, and you're literally saying, you know what, we didn't know some of these things are actually happening or were supposed to happen in a certain way. All right, we're going to move on now to the moral regeneration. I spoke about the inclusion of religion or whatever faith or believer uma wenza izinto. I'd like to call upon the Honorable Reverend Usiva Waku. Yenage is from the South African Council of Churches, maybe just to give us a gauge into the role of the church in building the character of abantu abancane from a psychosocial perspective. Reverend Siyawamukela.
Good afternoon, Alicia, and all the viewers, wherever they are, and to all the partners in this initiative. Let me begin, Alicia, by just noting that the question of the church is a critical one in fighting any scourge or pandemic or epidemic. And as such, we see the church by definition as a community of people who hold certain beliefs about their relationship with a higher being or superior being. And in this case, it would be God. This becomes even more crucial for us in the Southern Africa, where we believe that a person is not complete without being shaped or formed by their spirituality, which is this quality of being concerned with the human spirit or soul more than the material or physical things. It would then suffice for me to say that faith holds an integral part in the lives of many South Africans. There are certain values, Alicia, that the church instills on its members. The very notion of love, us being driven by love, beginning with God loving us, and then being encouraged to love one another. And I find this notion of love quite fascinating when it comes to psychosocial issues. How we think, for instance, of ourselves has a direct impact on how we relate and treat others. A person who loves is often embracing, caring, sensitive, compassionate, and expresses themselves in a manner that encourages and enables life for others than limiting it. And so the church also teaches us to be responsible, not only for our lives, but the lives of others as well as the rest of creation indeed. And so being responsible can be therapeutic for those who are vulnerable and need to find meaning in life. HIV, for instance, still is, even to this day, highly stigmatized. There's still denial and secrecy around it. One of the easiest ways of assisting people with this denialism and secrecy is faith. Faith that is not responsible for others will certainly persuade people to thinking that without any medical support or humanitarian support, even in terms of just having support groups, people can deal with HIV, which is a false notion. The whole notion of the spiritual life needing to be separated from the scientific world is actually irresponsible. The church needs to acknowledge that God has offered us various means to support life. And one of these is the medical intervention. And that is why when I was at Edenvale Methodist Church, for instance, with Reverend Yvette Edwards-Vivian, Cecil Rhodes, and the late Barry Marshall, we established the Edenvale Care Center to take care and support medically and spiritually those that were struggling with HIV, either infected or even affected, because church must play a significant role in supporting these people in a holistic sense. We must also remember that we can't do this alone, Alicia. It is important, therefore, for the church that it must never work in isolation, but must form meaningful partnerships with other organizations, institutions, and other bodies that seek then to bring healing and transformation. Because any church that sees itself as secluded from the rest of the world is, according to Max Weber, a sect than a church. It therefore becomes important for the church to constantly interact with the world around itself. Remember this, the world has enough resources that the church may not even have. And so it's important that we partner with all those who are well-resourced so that we can bring healing and transformation. For instance, we have mastered this when we are dealing with COVID-19. The SACC, the South African Council of Churches, has called for LEANs, which are the local ecumenical action networks, where churches partner with other churches, but also with other institutions to bring relief and to ensure that people are empowered. And why can't we do the same with HIV and AIDS? We've seen it to be a wonderful strategy. The church is not the only body that actually fights with these pandemics. I remember in the days when I was at the Calvary Methodist Church, when we partnered with the Gift of the Givers to minister to the vulnerable and the poor in the Midrand area. We wouldn't have done that great work without that partnership. We have partnered with corporates as well. And it is important that we do this work. The Methodist Church, for instance, the people called Methodists, when London was battling with alcoholism, Mr. Wesley said, all Methodists, when they partake in Holy Communion, they will not use any alcoholic drinks. And so we moved to using the grape juice as a sign of solidarity, but also of dealing with the scourge of alcoholism. And so the church must play a leading role in influencing society. And we can do that with HIV and AIDS. The early church, we must remember that if you read Acts 2, for instance, it was very strong on looking at the needs in society and seek to minister to those. And we can still do that as the church even today. We have, to some extent, empowered the youth, for instance, on issues of agriculture through initiatives together with the Harambee Youth Accelerator, in institutions like Afriponics, where we would teach young people how to do gardening in their homes. And so these initiatives become important if we are going to succeed in fighting any scourge, especially the HIV and AIDS. We mustn't forget that it has left so many homes ravished, and we've got as a church, therefore, to be directly involved. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Reverend Usiva Waku with the South African Council of Churches. Well, that brings us to a wrap of all our panelists today. But of course, that does not mean ukuthi sesiyahamba manje. We still got 30 minutes. Thank you so much to UJFM who was hosting us for that first hour. Reverend Waku uthi responsibility muntu omncane is therapeutic. Try and be responsible. Khona uzozwa ukuthi ingqondo yakho is always going to be at peace. But i-conscious, umqamelo, or i-conscious ulale kuwona, so that you're not going to wake up ekuseni unalezo zinto. So thank you to my panelists today. But before Samba, I'd like to engage with you guys. You can still keep on sending those interactions to us on the Transport Education and Training Authority Facebook page, as well as the UJ Institutional Office for HIV AIDS, the IOHA. All right, so Sis Amanda, Urina Mutapo Uti, how do you deal with the sexual urges when abstaining?
All right. Genuinely, you know, the first reaction we do when we want to abstain, we suppress the sexual urges. So what I've taught people is you need to replace, because when you're engaging in sex, you are releasing certain hormones, your oxytocins, your dopamines. So when you are stop engaging, then you need to replace those hormones, which you get all those activities when you go to gym, you know, exercise, sweat it out. If uthanda amapiano, you know, khona manje sibeke libeke umsebenzi wethu, dance to it, you know, and release the hormone. Be intentional with going through. There's other interesting and healthy behaviors that you can adopt that can replace those emotions and hormones that you were getting from sex. So yeah, that's about it. So you need to find a healthy routine that works for you. Personally, I read, I write, I pray a lot. So find something that works for you. Find that healthy behavior that feeds your soul, your spirit, and your mind. Yeah.
All right. Siyabonga kakhulu sis Amanda. Let's go to
a healthy living lifestyle.
Yes, thank you so much for that response, sis Amanda. I hope ukuthi uzwileke wena sisi. Usisinqobile la umkhwanazi uthi I wish high schools had more detailed programs like Ayoha. So maybe let's hear from Uminenhle Nolokozana, Uminenhle Nokarabo. A lot of people here are actually asking if they could go back to campus. They are saying, my goodness, how to wear condom, very important. That is from Utanya Paida Mabika. So she's basically saying, can we please have these demonstrations shown on campus? What can you say? Can you make any promises? Are you going to give them a presentation anytime soon? Are you going to facilitate such? Minentle, Karabo?
I'll go as my colleague comes on board.
Yes.
Sure. Actually, we full swing. We ongoing, as we said from our initial brief. We are busy, and every day these presentations, these engagements are ongoing each and every week. And I'm going to allow Minnie to actually share an initiative that she's going to do in the next upcoming week with the high schools, which then covers what our viewer asked us now with regards to engaging and with the high school community. Over to you, Min. I don't want to take so much time with regards to this.
Thanks, Karabo. So the first question was, are we going to be doing these demonstrations on campus? Of course. I mean, this is exactly what we were doing before COVID, and we won't stop now. As soon as we are allowed to go back full force on campus, we will be more than happy to do these demonstrations, and we continue to do them even during res visits, etc. So the more we are able to engage, the more we will do. And then regarding just something that we are doing with high schools, we are having a talk next week. We may not be able to go as far as we would like in terms of things like condom demonstrations, etc. But what we are going to do is that we will make sure that we create awareness nonstop.
All right, thank you so much to Usis Mini Nokarabo Lapayana. Yeah, well, there was a lot of reaction to that. A lot of people are saying condom demonstration, one of my favorite. Danko, Miss Maeva. So Sis Maishala, they're thanking you for the presentation today, and they are also asking if you could also engage with maybe AMA high schools in this initiative. All right, guys, we've literally come to the end of the program officially. So I would like our main partner to give us a vote of thanks. I'm talking about Ubaba Usabelo Mbuku Yenage. He's a representative from the Transport Training Authority. Uguti asnigeze a vote of thanks. Babu Sabel.
Sis Alicia, thank you so much for the condom demonstration. Look, I think for our Facebook viewers and those that have tuned into UJFM and the different platforms that UJ provided, we really want to extend a word of appreciation as the Transport Education Training Authority, because such partners, they might be silent, but their contribution is vast. My plea would be for them to extend the messaging and share it in different platforms so that it's more sustainable and that people continue to engage and have these conversations. Karabo, thank you so much, Karabo and Minentle from UJ. We really appreciate the conversation that you had. And I'm sure it really brought and enlightened a lot of young people, I could see the comments, they are fully au fait with your contribution and your services. That is well appreciated. We've got quite a number of students that are at UJ that are funded by TITA, so we are proud, you know, when we see such initiatives being invested in our young people. The Queen of Celibacy, Miss Amanda Ndiki. Wow, what a session, what a speech. You know, suppressing and impressing and erection and, you know, the direction. You know, there's a lot of things that she said, but obviously I'm sure young people have picked up, and we've also picked up a lot as well. So thank you so much, Amanda, for your contribution. It is well received, and we believe that we will abstain and encourage, you know, Minentle and Karabo to do likewise, though on campus. Alicia, you are also included, you know, in that call for abstinence, so that the message is more relevant and it's home, so that we don't, you know, leave anything unattended. Reverend, thank you so much for enlightening us and ensuring that we take the message, you know, to feed our spiritual man, and the alignment that you have put forward. And I think the church out there is listening, and then the doors should open, and that we talk about HIV and AIDS openly in our churches, and we don't stigmatize and think that people who are HIV positive are sinners. I think Tulina is testament to the fact that you can have HIV from different sources. She talked about gender-based violence that led to her contracting HIV and AIDS. So can we imagine if we begin to destigmatize and accommodate everybody else? People would open up and talk about the different social ills that they are going through. So the church is playing a key role. Tulina, thank you so much, Sisi, for being open and transparent and being an advocate in your own right to ensure that young people's society is well equipped and fully acquainted with how to live positively with HIV and AIDS. You even said you are fat. That means you've gained weight and you are healthy and all of that, not fat in a bad way, but you are fat in a good way. So thank you so much for participating in this platform. Then there is Refilwe Sibisi from Higher Health. Thank you so much for partnering, and these are the partners that we need to ensure that, you know, as we engage on these platforms, it is not just a silent voice that is speaking from the outside, but we've got many voices that are actually echoing the message to ensure that we reach out to the different higher institutions, institutions of higher learning across the country. So we thank you so much for being here. And then we have Maishela. Hey, yours is a tough one. You did a nice demonstration, but it just ended at the peak of your demonstration. So if we were able to, and if you had it with you, I would say Alicia must give you 1.5 minutes just to complete, you know, the part where you were putting in the condom properly and ensuring that it does not break in the process. And, you know, we fully enjoyed the fact that you must wash hands before you engage in sexual intercourse. It's more like, you know, booking, you know, a massage at a spa to ensure that you get ready and, you know, the preparation and all of that. So really it's enlightening what you have done. It is really helpful. And I believe young people and all of us that are watching and engaging in this session, we are enlightened and we are educated and we are fully aware that a condom, it is not just break and use. You need to wash hands and make sure that you use it properly. I'm not sure if I've left anybody out. except for David behind the scenes, who has been assisting and ensuring that we are all on time. And obviously, Sis Koliswa, thank you so much for putting this together. We really appreciate. Tita is driven by vision. So obviously our foresight without you would still be blindness. So we really appreciate that you have embarked on this journey and assisted us to really stretch ourselves to make sure that society out there becomes more aware and they take HIV and AIDS seriously, because we need to focus. It is still around us. Thank you, Alicia, for your time, and thank you for your leadership in managing our time management. You were not ruthless, but your smile allowed us to keep on time because we didn't want to frustrate you. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Mbogu there. Of course, he is the marketing head from the Transport Education and Training Authority. And of course, Mr. Mbogu, I can tell you now that your message and your objectives, I think, have been fully achieved today. If I can just take you through some of the comments that have come through today. A lot of people are saying, yes, we need to promote abstinence more. Amanda is my role model. I'm a year and a few months into my celibacy journey. And of course, thank you so much, Sis Amanda. Michaela Groeneval says, abstinence plays a very vital role in getting to know yourself very early in life. So these are just some of the comments that have come through, of course, pertaining to some of the speakers that we've had. The reaction has absolutely been amazing. Christian Guy sends Amandela Utisipate, Unhlanhla Buthelezi, youth are broken by the same sex they're participating in. And I think she's quoting Mrs. Amanda Lapo, where she said, your erection once again is not your direction. Please be on the lookout for our next TETA engagement. Of course, it will be taking place in Alexandria. All the information and details will be on the Transport Education and Training Authority website. As of course, Mr. Mbogu has alluded, there's a lot that you can find out on that site. They've got bursaries, they've got all sorts of programs that you can also just have a look at if you do find yourself on your website. A lot of people here are asking about demonstrations. Please come to schools. Please make those demonstrations something that they can find. Maybe develop an app or maybe a website somewhere where they can actually have a look as to where they can get the proper demonstrations in terms of condom use. I can't cover everybody, unfortunately, because of time. I just want to quickly ask Sis Maishala. Sis Maishala, do you have a full video online or on your website that details the full demonstration of how to use a female and male condom in an appropriate way?
Hi, Alicia. Yes, I do have, but then I'll communicate with Koliswa as to how that clip can be made accessible to all the students.
Okay, all right. So basically what we're saying, all right, we'll put it on the website of the TETA, as well as we'll make it also available to Ayoha. I hope Ukarabo Nominentle are listening. We're going to give you guys the full clip. I mean, a lot of students from there are saying, guys, we need the physical demonstration. Maybe students who could see these things live. But some of the comments that have come in here, very encouraging indeed. Tulina, a lot of people are looking up to you. They're saying, please keep up the strength, and of course, keep encouraging others to live openly and to also go and test so that they know their statuses. To all my panelists, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. My participants, you guys at home, you guys that have been watching this, thank you so much for your interactions. Once again, to UJFM 95.4, thank you so much for hosting us for the first hour of this presentation, Mr. Mbogu. Let me thank you once again for the opportunity to be be here and host everybody here. I have learned myself a lot. And yeah, with regards to your advice about abstinence, of course, I'll do so. Reverend Ngiyabonga Nami, thank you so much. And of course, the Moon and Back group and everyone who joined us today. Let's keep the fight against HIV and AIDS alive, people. And remember, HIV is not a death sentence. Maybe Sis Amanda, let me start with you. Just your final 2 seconds of saying goodbye to Abantu today. Sis Amanda.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much to every speaker and to everyone. Yeah, I think I will leave it at that to say you have the power to decide who you want to share your body with. And that's what abstinence encourages you to do, to be ready to be intimate with the person that you choose to be when you are ready spiritually, when you are ready emotionally. Do not engage in sex out of pressure. You own your body. There's no shame in owning your body. It belongs to you. Nobody should ever abuse you, and nobody should ever force you to engage in sexual relationships when you are unhealthy emotionally and spiritually. Grow yourself, heal yourself from your past traumas, heal yourself from brokenness, because when you are a healed version, you are going to attract healed souls and healed and whole people. Thank you so much.
A very quick one, Sis Amanda, before I let you go. Somebody was saying, is masturbation a part of abstinence or can be defined as abstinence?
Masturbation is part of abstinence because abstinence or celibacy is different to each and every person. So some people can be celibate holistically like me. I do not masturbate, I do not watch porn, I do not buy sex toys, right? But someone else might say, but for me, because it's spiritual reasons, but someone else might say, I'm just doing this for my mental wellness. So I do want to engage in masturbation. So for them to relieve themselves when the pressures of sexual urges are too much so that they don't go around being crazy, I think they can. It is part of abstinence. So yeah, sometimes it's holistically, others they choose not to engage in it at all. Because when you masturbate, you are actually, enticing yourself. You are not achieving the goal not to engage in sex. So I don't believe masturbation actually gives you that restriction and give you that authority to truly be in control of your emotions and your wellness.
Thank you so much, Sis Amanda. A very quick one from Sis Refilo. Sis Refilo, I mean, a lot of izinto associated with teenage exuberance, and of course, abantu they're getting their independence for the first time. So they think that freedom means they must engage in risky behavior. What is your message to those that are thinking, oh my goodness, I'm leaving matric this year and I'm starting university? Abazali bazobe bengekho, so ngizobe ngizenzela nje into engiyifunayo. Refilwe. All right, I think we seem to have lost.
So one thing I'll literally want to emphasize on is that your well-being matters above everything. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now, Refilwe. Go ahead. All right, I think we are. Refilwe, can you still hear us? All right, let's move on for now because we've got literally like 4 minutes. Maybe Tulina?
Yes,
maybe
I can.
Okay, now you can hear us very quickly, Sister Refilo. All right. I think she has muted us or there's something.
Okay, so my emphasis was that your well-being.
Yes. Go ahead, Refilwe.
Okay. All right, I do hope that everyone can hear me. So my emphasis were that your well-being. Okay. All right. So I was saying that your well-being matters. Your well-being should be prioritized above everything else. I know for one, me being a first-year student in 2016, AJ, away from parents, I felt like this is the independence I've always wanted. And you engage in a lot of things that are far from what you value, what you think your worth is. So above everything, remember that there are resources there to off-campus in your res as well that will promote your well-being above everything else. Inform yourself always. IOHA is there. Inform yourself on the websites that are there. Higher Health is always there as well. So always ensure that you prioritize your well-being above everything else. Yeah.
Thank you,
Enjoy your
Sister
academics. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Refilwe. Tulina, you literally have a minute to say goodbye and encourage those students that might find themselves infected or affected by HIV and AIDS. Go ahead, Ndogas.
Okay, what I'm gonna say is I'm gonna agree with Refilwe Bagati, your well-being matters. And I'm going to say, let us work together to fight for an HIV-free generation. And also, if you're HIV positive already, when you protect yourself, you protect others. So I encourage you guys to take your medication. If you're negative, I encourage you guys to stay negative. It's very important. And as says Amanda Shilo, if you want to abstain, it doesn't matter. Forget about the Abantu Bazotini syndrome. It's about you. It starts with you. When they say charity begins at home, like literally the house, they mean you. They inside of you. That's where it begins. When you start to love yourself, it's gonna be easy to do the right things. Love yourself, guys.
Thank you so much. And Lord Abantu la uthembani Tiamo uthi it's Thuli for president. And on that official note is where we bring this program to a close. And let's thank our technical support Oracle, and of course it's David and Sina that have been behind the technicalities and making sure that we look and sound good. Thank you so much, everyone. I am Alisha Nhlanhla Jali. For more details, go to the TITA website, go to the IOHA website. We will see you in Alex. Everybody, have a great afternoon. Goodbye.